Bill, girls, $15.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
I think we're gonna have to go into this. There's people who, while we were delaying this magic pocket story for somebody, there's apparently other people who are gonna have to leave. So.
Yeah.
I see.
So
Yeah, I'm waiting for
I
you.
think-
I'll do whatever you
Yeah,
guys
I
think.
think we just have to go ahead with this magic pocket
Okay.
story. Because I think, it's...
Why don't I
Okay.
record it? So
We're gonna do it. We're gonna record it so all those people who missed it can find it later. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to?
And why isn't Bill in a dress? Because I only had to wear it for 4 hours, and that time has
Crap,
passed.
feet,
Yeah.
Actually-
so
But
it's important not to lose those.
okay.
All right.
Dear Dr. Bill's mom, are you worried about your
So you can go ahead
son's
then.
lack of awesomeness compared to yourself?
My. Not really. Guess hopefully I can tell the story as well as I told it yesterday because it slayed the group. But
Okay.
the good thing about these stories is they're true. And so true stories are pretty easy to retell because the details don't change.
You're starting
All
now?
right. Story time.
Yeah, I'll start now.
Recording.
Everybody ready? Because the Magic Pocket story is a little bit of a roller coaster ride.
All right.
All right.
Everybody.
And Paul hasn't heard it, so are you okay, Paul?
I'm prepared.
He's
You
prepared.
ready? And I don't think Andre's heard it.
Nope.
How are your
Oh,
shorts?
no one in the room has heard it.
How are your
No.
shorts right now?
Yeah,
They
everybody's
good? Got a new
good?
parent, clean ones
Yeah.
on.
okay.
Okay.
I really, I told it last night as a bedtime story, but maybe we'll do it as a beginning of the day story for some people. So as we all know, Bill's been an unusual child from the beginning. Yes. And
So that's
I
pretty
was
good.
a single parent mom, which meant there was some parts of Bill's anatomy I wasn't super familiar with the usage of.
I like where this is going already.
But I tried my best, because that's what you do when you got to do it. So Bill was about 3, and I bought, he had little jockey underwear, with the little white stripes, and I don't know, that's what I thought all little boys wore. I didn't know there was anything different. So Bill says to me one day, he says, "Mom, what's all this stuff here on the front of my underwear for?" And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, it's a magic pocket." And, well, it took me a little while, not long, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and I realized that might have been a mistake. I had some visions about Bill putting toys and all kinds of weird stuff in there, and I thought, I really probably shouldn't have said that. So I sat him down and I said, "Look, Bill, Mommy lied. It's not a pocket." And he said, "But what is it?" And I said, "Well, it's just decoration." But Bill was unwilling to accept decoration as an answer. And I said, "Nah, that's all it is. It's just decoration. It's just how they make boys' underwear." And he said, "No, I don't really buy that." He said, "What is it, really?" And I said, "Well, it's to go to the bathroom with." I said, "But the boys don't really use it. As far as I know, it's really, poor design. Nobody really uses it. Not to worry." Well, Bill being Bill wouldn't take that as an answer.
Bill, please stop swerving all over the place.
The Bill pushed and pushed. "Well, what is it really for? Really, Mom?" And I said, "Well, it's to go to the bathroom with." Bill was like, "Oh, but how?" So then I proceeded to show him what I understood how that pocket worked. How one would pull one's member through in order to use the bathroom. And I said, no. Boys don't use this. They really don't. They just, yeah, don't worry. I thought we were done, right? Done.
Oh no, she's not done.
Got out of that one. Yeah. Yeah. That's not how it goes with Bill, though, right? These things come back to get you later.
Of course not.
Yeah. So a couple days later, I went into the daycare.
Oh.
And he went to a daycare, it was pretty progressive, and there was one daycare worker that was kind of in charge of Bill, and I got in
You can't
there
be.
at the end of the day, and she says, I think we need to talk. And I'm like, oh, there's been an issue? She says, yeah, we had a little incident with Bill out on the playground today, and I really think we should talk. I was like, okay, I'm still totally have forgotten, A, about the magic pocket and about any of this little underwear instructional class that I'd had earlier. So Liz takes me aside. I remember Liz well. Do you remember Liz?
No.
No, Liz liked you. She said, yeah, we were outside at the playground. And Bill came up to me and said, Liz, I want to show you my magic pocket. Proceeded to drop his little jeans to the ground, spend an inordinate amount of time attempting to fish his parts through to show Liz how his magic pocket worked. And Liz was a little concerned about where he might have learned that. Where do you think he learned that, Mrs. Watt? You know, and that's when I understood at that point that I needed to be more careful with what I actually said to Bill.
You said you say like, oh no, must have learned it from some kids. Or
No, no, because I'm pretty sure I was turning red in the moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
That's-
that,
that is the magic pocket story.
now that you have heard the Magic Pocket story,
Oh my.
if you think that was worth more than $100, you go donate some more money.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You should have said he picked it up from video games. That's what.
No, because that was his video game life.
No.
And make sure you
hey,
put-
why don't you tell the story about how I actually got my first video game system
Okay,
and
hold on a
who
second.
banned me from having it till I was 13.
I hated that.
If you don't go
Yeah.
donate more money, make sure you indicate post Magic Pocket so we know how many came in after the fact.
I had to win my first video game system to get it.
Yeah, Bill was a tortured child. Indeed, I
Tortured.
didn't let him have TV till he was like 8 years old.
Probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no TV in our house.
I had 2 channels.
I used to play video games with
He had to secretly play video games
With
at other people's houses. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
I was.
the kids
I
that-
didn't have a video game system either, so yeah, there's a lot
the
of going
kids
over
that
cool
lived
ones.
in number. We lived in 4.
And
The kids
then-
that lived in number 1 had a Nintendo. I used to play Mario with them, and then my friend Ian
Kids
had a
only-
Super Nintendo and Nintendo. We used to play Contra on that all the time.
And then I had him go to this Boys and Girls Club after school.
And the Boys and
program.
Girls Club had Street Fighter Street Fighter tournament all the time.
So so yeah. Did you have like people you only really hung out with because they had a game system?
No, just how it ended up. Eventually, I won my own. It was pretty funny when Mom was like, "Oh, can't say no to that."
Yeah, so he used to go to this like after school club and he won the leadership award and the
Yeah.
prize was a Nintendo system.
And the guy,
Which I couldn't really like not let him keep.
yeah, and one of the guys who was working
I was
there
not happy.
said I could have had a Sega Genesis
Can
or a
you
Super
believe that?
Nintendo. I
Because-
went with the Super Nintendo and I was happy.
Nice choice.
The first game I got was Donkey Kong, and I beat the living
yeah,
crap
it
You
was
out of
were
bad.
a wise kid.
It was
With
bad.
the
The, like Sega had a few really epic games, but the SNES had also a few really epic games and a whole ton of great games.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many games.
And one of my first moments with Morgan was...
I did play some Atari for a
I'm
bit.
talking.
Sorry.
Sorry. That was me talking? Yeah, okay.
Someone was talking in the chat.
Yeah, I
okay.
know, but I was talking to you.
All right.
About you.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
Go.
Okay. So,
Right.
Morgan and Bill started hanging out when they're, teenagers, young, 13-year-olds,
14,
before their
17.
voices dropped. And, so we didn't have TV, and I was pretty strict about what TV they were allowed to watch. One of those things I didn't let be watched in my house was The Simpsons.
I watched that all.
Because
the
I
time.
really didn't
You're
like
gone.
Bart Simpson's acting out against his parents stuff, and I was still trying to be in control then. Didn't really work, but so Morgan and Bill are starting to hang out, and I guess Morgan's starting to catch on to some of these rules in my house, and they come to my house, and Morgan comes up to me and he puts his arm around me. He goes, "Bill's mom, I let Bill watch The Simpsons at my house. But don't worry, I explained to him it was just a cartoon."
Really? He said that?
That was like the third or fourth time I met Morgan. "Don't worry, I told him it was all fake."
Basically, me and Morgan would go back to my place and play Chrono Trigger. That's basically what we did for grade 9.
Yeah, I remember this.
Truly a wise decision.
You can really like mark the years in at that time with like video games
That you were playing.
you were playing. Like I remember there was a time when Graham and Morgan were playing Tony Hawk
All the time, for like one whole summer. Tony Hawk 2.
Tony Hawk 2, yeah, I think I remember that one.
That wasn't a summer. That was like a year.
Maybe it was about a year.
But there's a summer where, because you didn't have school, you guys basically just like, went to one of your houses until you fell asleep, and then went to the other house and then fell asleep, and then went just back and forth playing Tony Hawk 2.
Yep.